Okay, welcome back. You man Diamond K in here. Thank you for joining me. And let's get into tonight's headlines. Should you wear a mask? Baltimore police, 6 officers, 2 civilians, COVID-19 positive, 219 quarantined, and hypocrisy against TikTok. And I say hypocrisy for a reason. We're going to get into that a little bit later. Episode 414, season 13 of the program. And, we're providing the best in breaking news, entertainment, political stories that matter to you from an independent point of view. So, as I said, a lot to get into, a lot to dive into. So this has been an evolving story here as the world is facing the COVID-19 coronavirus epidemic. We are battling that. And I do understand that information is coming and people don't necessarily know everything about everything. We're learning this on the go. That being said, that does not make it an excuse for some of the misinformation that has been put out there by people who are supposed to be smart, who are supposed to be in charge, supposed to be on up and up, right? The Centers for Disease Control Prevention announced on Friday that they recommend that Americans wear face coverings when venturing out in public, okay? Now, this completely goes against what they were saying at first. If you remember, they were saying, don't wear a mask, only wear a mask if you're sick. Now they're saying something completely different, which I said initially that it didn't make sense. They were saying initially that you shouldn't wear a mask and a mask wasn't going to protect you, right? These new guidelines come after the Surgeon General urged people to stop buying masks, okay? Last month, the Surgeon General said, don't buy masks. They're not effective in preventing the general public from contracting COVID-19. This was the Surgeon General. Did I say this was last month? Now he's on TV and he's saying something completely different. So many people don't even know what to believe. Do you believe what he's saying this month, or do you believe what they said last month, right? The real bottom line here is you can't believe anything. You have to do your own research. You're going to have to do your own research. We cannot depend on them. They change because they claim now that they didn't want people to buy up all the masks, right? So they're telling you that you can use a scarf, use a homemade mask. If that is the case, why didn't they say that in the beginning? Why didn't they say in the beginning, don't go out and buy masks because we need to save those, but wear these, right? Wear a scarf, wear a mask a homemade mask that you made. Why didn't they say that then, right? They don't know what they're talking about. And we have to really question their agendas. What is their agenda? Because there's always an agenda. Oh, be clear. There is always an agenda. So what exactly should people wear? And when should they wear them? That is the question that we have. What should people wear? When should they wear them, right? And, I was out walking and, I was seeing people walking up and down the street on a racetrack wearing a mask, right? And it was peculiar to me because, in that instance, you don't need a mask. If you can control the amount of space that you're spending between someone, you don't need a mask. If you're out in the middle of a field by yourself, why do you have on a mask, right? But if you're in some kind of area, first of all, you shouldn't go in an area where you can't totally control. So let's say you're in the supermarket, you're in Walmart, you're in Target, you're in whatever, right? You're in there, you can't control, okay, the mask makes sense, right? But I see some people driving in a car and they got on the mask. They're in the car by themselves and they got on the mask. I'm like, what? And maybe they're sick, right? I mean, they're in the car themselves. It's just them. It just seems like they would put it on, as they were getting out, or something like that. But I also want to talk about cross-contamination, right? Cross-contamination. I see people with gloves. Makes sense, cool. You like gloves, makes you feel good, fine. But if you're in the supermarket and you're shopping and you have these gloves on, you're touching a cart, right? You're pushing a cart, and then you're touching the things that you're gonna purchase, stuff that you're gonna eat, stuff that you're gonna, fruit, the bag, whatever you're touching, the water bottle that you're grabbing, everything, right? So, but if what you think is so nasty that you touch with these gloves, and you're touching the stuff that you're bringing to your house, they're not hosing down the water bottles, and they're not wetting up the toilet tissue, right? So all this stuff, this is in your mind. You claim you're touching something that's bad. So you take the gloves off, they throw them away. But all the stuff that they touch with the gloves, that's fine. It's just in the house. It's just all good. It makes me question this whole thing. When you look at the cross-contamination, right? It's like if you touch something that was bad, and then I don't know. It's just, so they say they're gonna take the clothes off and they wash it off, and you know what I mean? But all this stuff is in the mind. A lot of this is in the mind, because at the end of the day, the CDC don't know, the Surgeon General definitely don't know. We know that the president doesn't know. What do we really know, right? They claimed that when the weather got warm, it was gonna go away. Well, in California, in Florida, the weather has been warm, right? Still here. I don't know how much of this is actually affected by the weather, but it sounds good. And that's something that a lot of people were thinking, the ones that were thinking that this was a flu-like thing, right? So the president says that the CDC is advising the use of non-medical cloth face covering as an additional voluntary public health measure. To go and show you how this president thinks or does not think, he says himself he doesn't plan on wearing a face mask, right? Good, I'm glad, right? The face coverings are not recommended. They're not recommending the surgical masks or the N95 respirator masks. They said they're not recommending those. What are they they don't even know. So now the Surgeon General says that those critical supplies must continue to be reserved for healthcare workers or other medical first responders. That's what they're saying. So they're saying if you're not one of those, then damn, we don't care. I mean, we don't care what happens to you because you're not one of the first responders, whatever. So as I said, president's not wearing one. The Surgeon General is inconsistent with his stuff. The flimsy disposable masks, those are hard to find. Like that's the thing that people are really searching for, right? But there are quick, easy ways to craft your own. I've seen a lot of videos out there with people that are crafting their own masks when they cannot find any. But I don't want people to get this artificial sense of protection, right? Don't think that these masks are going to protect you because you're touching other things. Your eyes are not in a mask. You can still get, droplets in your eyes. You're out exposing yourself in the same way. So you still want people to stay indoors. You still want people to practice social distancing. You still want people to not gather in a place where there are more than 10 people in close quarters. You want to continue all of that stuff. We do know that the do-it-yourself masks, scarves, are not as effective as the N95 masks. The N95 masks are uncomfortable, they're awkward, but the cloths, the scarves, the do-it-yourselves, the little flimsy masks, it still offers some protection from respiratory droplets that spread the virus. So a couple of other things to go over as it relates to masks. The fabric that is 100% cotton is comparable to surgical masks as far as effectiveness of preventing those droplets, because the droplets are what you're trying to avoid. 100%. You're trying to avoid droplets. Now, if you cannot make your own mask, as I said, you can cover your mouth and your nose with a scarf or a bandana. You know, you want to avoid getting too close. You know what I mean? And I'm gonna tell you what's crazy. If you think about it, when you talk, normally, before this epidemic happened, pandemic, you hear people talking, you see spit coming out their mouth and that kind of thing. This is just before that. That would happen, touch your body, sometimes get in your face, get on your lip, all kind of craziness, right? This is not what we want to happen right now. So we definitely want people avoiding that, avoiding this closeness, right? So they're saying 6 feet. Somebody spit traveling farther than 6 feet in just a real conversation, and that is some real, you know, that's some real crazy stuff. Some real crazy stuff. But as I said, we have to hammer this home. Masks, if you're going out, especially if you're in a place where you cannot control how many people are like all up in your personal bubble, right? So supermarket, out shopping, that whole thing. So as we move on, UK Prime Minister Boris Johnson has been hospitalized. Boris Johnson is the Prime Minister of UK, right? They're calling him the UK version of Trump. He's been hospitalized. Now, he was down talking, downplaying, and trying to dismiss the coronavirus. Now, 10 days after he started to come down with symptoms and announced that he had the coronavirus and had a positive test, he has been admitted to the hospital due to the virus symptoms. So back March 27th, he announced that he had tested positive for the COVID-19 coronavirus. Now the doctor has advised him, the Prime Minister, this is the highest ranking person in the United Kingdom, right? This is the equivalent to Donald Trump in UK, right? So of course they want to be, you know, cautious with the wording. They want to say that this is a precautionary step as the Prime Minister continues to have persistent symptoms, right? They're not getting better, they are persistent symptoms 10 days after he tested positive. He should be coming down, but he is kind of keeping that steady stream. 55 years old, so that's definitely something that you need to be cautious of. A lot of misinformation going out there, people thinking falsely that this was just something that was going to damage older people, or something that was going to really be something that people with pre-existing conditions had to worry about, and nobody else had this issue. This is not the case. There are a lot of people without pre-existing conditions who are under 50 years old who have significant problems and have been hospitalized. But the Prime Minister wants to thank people, of course. The Queen of England, delivered some historic remarks today. It's the first time she's done that. One of the few times she's done that in 70 some years. And a bit of local news, Baltimore police report that 6 officers, 2 civilian employees have tested positive for COVID-19. Additionally, Commissioner Michael Harrison says that 219 employees are out on quarantine. Damn, all right? Whole Southwest District decimated, right? Decimated. 133 people who work out of the Southwest District, where the officer tested positive yesterday, they got to stay home and be quarantined. So I used to live in the Southwest District, so that's crazy. Don't live there now. Used to live there, but the whole building closed temporarily for cleaning. This is a serious thing. And so when you got those places in the Midwest who are like, it's nothing gonna happen, you know, one person, especially because of the nature that people can be asymptomatic and still infect other people. That is such a dangerous thing. That's what's causing the spread. The fact that you can have no symptoms, not feel bad, feel fine, look fine, but have COVID-19, and not only have it, but you can be passing it on to other people. So this is what's causing the spread. So the president and the White House and the coronavirus task force, first they were talking about the 15 days to slow the spread. You heard them say it over and over again, 15 days to slow the spread. Now they changed it to 30 days to slow the spread. I'm predicting they're going to predict another 60 days to slow the spread. Now we're going to be talking about summertime before a lot of this is slowed down. But I don't want people to be under these false pretenses. When I say summertime, understand this: without a vaccine or a cure, people, even if they say you can come out, people are going to be very leery of coming out. People are going to be very leery. The big sporting events, the parties, all of these type of big gatherings, and they don't have a vaccine, people are not going to want to do that. So the economy is going to be very slow. It's not like when they say, okay, everybody come out and everything goes back to normal. Some businesses, unfortunately, are not going to come back. Some businesses, the business model is going to change. Those businesses that really depend on people gathering, they're going to be in some, they're definitely going to have tough times ahead. And the world as we knew it is not coming back. What we are going to have is a mesh between the way things used to be, the way things are right now. We're going to be somewhere in the middle of that until there's a cure for this pandemic has been realized. So going back a little bit, men and women of the Southwest Police Department continue to serve during this challenging time. They have members who are courageous and remain resilient. This is the words of Michael Harrison from the Baltimore Police Department. So since the beginning of the pandemic, 305 officers and civilians have been quarantined. As of today, 82 officers and 4 civilians have been cleared to come back to work. So things have been escalating significantly. I really implore people to protect themselves, protect those around you, and we will get through this. I just don't know exactly when is it going to be over? When are we going to get through it? That part we don't know yet. So also, Baltimore County schools have canceled all proms and senior activities due to this emergency that we know as the COVID-19 coronavirus. Superintendent Darrell Williams announced in a letter on Friday about this, and I talked about this. It's really something that's unfortunate for seniors. And this is coming from the superintendent of Baltimore County Schools. He said, just like you and your family, I too was looking forward to these events, but due to the health crisis, all proms and senior activities are canceled. So he continued that members of our school board, your principals, and I share your disappointment about losing these special events, but we must abide by these executive orders by our governor. So that's that. I mean, it's very unfortunate. So you have kids that have been in school, kindergartens 13 years, right? 13 years, and they've been looking forward to these commencement exercises, even if they're in the 6th grade, going to just do 6th grade, go to junior high, or any of those commencement exercises, and just done. It's just not going to happen. I know a lot of parents of seniors, and they are just devastated at this. But what can we do? There's not much that can be done in the wake of this. So like other schools across Maryland, Baltimore County schools will remain closed at least until April 24th due to the COVID-19 emergency. So here's something that's interesting. If the Baltimore County superintendent is saying, boom, no closing activities, No commencement, no prom, none of that stuff. School's not coming back, okay? April 24th. At April 24th, it's not like he's saying we're going to do it in May, revisit it. He's saying it's done now. It's done now. So I think that they're piecemealing some things and kind of slow saying, okay, no commencement activities. We ain't going to tell them school's over with yet. And then when we get to April 24th, school's going to be over then. But they don't want to hit you with everything right now because a lot of y'all are home with y'all kids and y'all are not happy about it. Which is another confusing thing to me entirely. How are you not happy about keeping your own kids? Woo, very confusing. Doesn't make a whole lot of sense to me. But anyway, well, let's say this. Okay, let me not put words in his mouth. He did say that the graduation ceremonies may also be impacted. But he said prom is done. So, I mean, if prom is done, graduation stuff was going to do a big video graduation. Teachers, administrators, and staff members are working hard to support students during this challenging time and during the final months of the senior year. So are we going to just get a pass-fail thing from first quarter, second quarter, third quarter, right? Sometimes kids wait till that second half, try to cram it at the end. All that is done. All that is done. We're going to either see school extend into the summertime because of the heat situation. I doubt that that's going to be the case. But we want people to be safe, stay engaged with their learning and with their teachers and their classmates, which they can do online. And as I said, we will all get through this together. So a bit of disturbing news, ratchet news. I will say this. I have been on where NBA Youngboy, rapper NBA Youngboy, where he is, just as far as this relationship and the ratchetness happening in his personal life. I've been there. I've experienced that, and I know what that feels like. Floyd Mayweather, the boxer, Floyd Mayweather, his daughter, stabbed a victim in both arms, and the injuries required emergency surgery. So Harris County Precinct Constable Office, Precinct number 4, received a 911 call for a disturbance at the Texas home of rapper NBA Youngboy. Youngboy never broke again, and officers arrived on the scene. Ayanna Mayweather, Floyd Mayweather's daughter, and the mother of one of NBA Youngboy's children were in a verbal altercation. So they had this back and forth, and at some point things got physical. So, as frequently happens, two women fighting in a house over a guy, over disrespect. Things get to the kitchen, and you know what happened. During the fight, Mayweather's daughter, Ayanna, allegedly stabbed the other female with knives. Several lacerations to both arms requiring surgery. So here's what's so strange about this. I mean, Floyd Mayweather is her father, but she is caught up with this troubled rapper. Got a lot going on, a lot of baggage. You would think that she would be in another situation, but people are who they are. So you can have all the money that you want. Mayweather family has a lot of money, but you can take the hood person out the hood, but you can't take the hood out the person, and she's showing who she is, who her family is. But as I said, I've been in that situation. I have had two girls fighting in the house in my younger years. We ain't talking about now, back in the day. And knives got pulled out, and it gets real crazy. It's unfortunate. So these are not life-threatening situations, and I'm sure that the young lady's gonna look back and, they're gonna, I don't know, but hopefully she doesn't spend too much time in jail. She is in jail. Word is not known yet if she's been released, but that's going to be interesting. So speaking of interesting, hypocrisy is one thing, and I have not been a super fan of China for several reasons. We talked about for trade, for the handling of this virus, for the inflation of their currency, a lot of things, right? But fair is fair, right is right. So there's a U.S. senator who wants TikTok banned on all federal employees' phones. And Republican Senator Josh Hawley, he really wanted to go in on TikTok. And everybody knows TikTok. TikTok's been blowing up. It's a short form video app and popular, super popular. It's one of those things. Ever so often, an app comes out and just captures people's imagination. And TikTok has done that. So, but many members of the U.S. government, they're not feeling that. Now, needless to say, many members of the U.S. government are so old they didn't even understand things, right? When they were having the controversy with Facebook, they didn't even understand the lingo. They couldn't understand because a lot of these people 70 and over, right? So to hear this Republican Senator Josh Hawley talking about TikTok was funny because he's too old to even understand what he's talking about. He doesn't use the platform. And I saw many people sharing, many prominent people names that you know, right? They're sharing saying, yeah, that's why I never downloaded TikTok. And now mind you, they're saying this on another social network, right? They're saying it on Instagram or on Facebook or Twitter, whatever. And they're sharing this Republican Senator Josh Hawley, talking about TikTok. And what did he say about TikTok? Let's get into what he said about TikTok. So this senator said that he alleges that TikTok tracks your searches, your keystrokes, your locations, and shares it with the Chinese government. That's what he said. Okay, and let's be clear that all these people that were sharing this video, all these people, these were also older people who were, clutching their pearls. This is why I never downloaded it. You didn't download it because you didn't understand how to work it, and you felt like you had built up your following on the other social network, and you didn't want to start over. That's why you didn't download it. But that's neither here nor there. Here's my point. My point is that these people who were sharing this video of this senator talking about TikTok and their security breaches and violating people's personal data, Instagram does that, Facebook does that, YouTube does that. They save your information. You know how you like something on Facebook or you visit a site and then you start getting all these advertisements for a site that you visited or something that's similar to stuff that you like. You know why you got that? Because Facebook, YouTube, Instagram, etc., they're sharing your data, right? But because this is a Chinese company, let's not act like the American companies don't do that, because they do. That's the whole business. That's why it's a free application, because they're getting their money on the back end, right? Anyway, so the hypocrisy of that. But I mean, this senator, he doesn't even know. I mean, he probably has a flip phone, doesn't even know how to work that, right? TikTok is, they are a company that is a foreign company. There are a lot of foreign companies. And, if you want to hone in the security measures, then do that for everybody. But at the same time, on one hand, we can't say, oh my God, TikTok, and we're getting all our medicine from China, right? You don't want the kids on the app that's a Chinese app, but we're buying the medical supplies from China, right? We're buying everything from China. So he doesn't want his kids on the TikTok app, but anything that we are buying that's from China, that's all good, right? We need to really, as I said initially, when I've said this, I'm going to keep saying this. If anything comes out of this pandemic, we should start making more things in America, right? 70% of our items should come from America. We should not be getting everything from China. If that was the source of this pandemic. So people not understand that the source of the pandemic. The first cases were in China, but we're getting the medical supplies from this same place. Makes no sense, right? Makes no sense. So we have to get back to making things again and not just be consumers. There's so many great products that can be made domestically. They're talking about all of these ventilators that they need, all these masks that they need, and all of these things. We need to rise from the ashes and start America truly producing items again. So, lastly, and so we talked about Facebook. Like I said, Facebook, like button, YouTube, Instagram. They're doing the same thing that TikTok does. So don't let the Republican senators scare you into thinking that, oh my God, TikTok is something that they're going to go grab their kid's phone and take TikTok off their phone. Ooh, the big bad TikTok, when all the social networks do the same damn thing. So, of course, you can listen to the Diamond K Show here on Radio on Fire. Get any show archives, exclusive content, radioonfire.com. I will be back here tomorrow, 7 p.m. Today was a special show, special thing. But we'll be back tomorrow with more of the political stories and social stories of the day. As always, on social media, Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, TikTok, at the Diamond K Show, at Radio on Fire. And I will see you guys tomorrow.